With hell constantly knocking on the front door of the faithful nations, it would be reasonable to think that it couldn't get worse. I mean, literal demons walk among us. Heretics utilize some of the most advanced weaponry in the setting. Hell, people commit unalive and are still able to walk around and sing the praise of their masters. The world is an actual horror movie, but it couldn't possibly get worse, right? Sadly, we are all deeply wrong, because from the deepest bowels of hell, Beelzebub stirs, and with him his most vile worshippers spring forth to spread his most heinous creation, Black Grail. Hello returning friends, I'm glad to be speaking to you all once again, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is 3.1-, and today I'll be taking you on a grisly tour on one of Trench Crusade's most disturbing factions, the Cult of the Black Grail. If you enjoyed the video, please do me a favor and drop a like, but if you really loved it, consider subscribing. That way I can get this content pushed out to you. Alright, no more of my jibber jabber, let's get on to the video. First, we must answer, what is Black Grail? Black Grail is a creation of Beelzebub, a demonic disease that perfectly embodies its maker in vileness. The affliction is highly infectious and corrupts anything biological, not just humans. The ailment turns the body into a withering mass of boils, pustules, and abscesses. However, Black Grail doesn't just kill you. Once your lifeless body has laid upon the ground for a few hours or so, you will begin to twitch and convulse. Before long, you are lurched to your feet. A creature between life and death, you serve your new master now. Racked in agony, the host can be turned into a variety of forms, whether it be a puddle of squirming flesh or a hulking, multi-limbed monstrosity. The disease, as of now, is incurable. To contract it is a death sentence. The only known way of combating it is to burn everything that has been in contact with it. But regular fire just doesn't get rid of it though, no sir. Black Grail is not only made up of biological matter, but carries demonic essence as well. Fire that is created with holy anointing oils is the only way to purge it. You would think with an ailment that is so disgusting and cruel, it would be hard to believe that anybody would actually worship Beelzebub. Well, that's where the Cult of the Black Grail comes into play. Now, some people willingly submit themselves to Beelzebub, thinking that they'll be spared of the pain in exchange for their services within his unholy hierarchy. However, Beelzebub just flips them the bird and hits them with a nasty-ass concoction anyway. He doesn't give a shit if you willingly submit. You were going to do his bidding either way. No, only the sickest and most vicious of mortal followers are granted to the high echelons of his disgusting social order. These rare individuals tend to be psychopaths to begin with, sharing the vision of their master to see the world turn into putrid soup. Once selected and blessed by Beelzebub, these vile people are among the select few who ascend to the elite ranks of the Order of the Fly. The Cult of the Black Grail's mission is simple: to infect and consume the world in Beelzebub's rancid image. Followers of the Fly Lord will inoculate anything they come into contact with. Along with this, the Warbands will gather objects that regular mortals find valuable. With this loot, as well as other more grisly trophies, they will throw them at the feet of statues. These idols are created in the image of their all-consuming lord. All of this is done not only to show devotion to Beelzebub, but to make a mockery of the worship conducted by the faithful. The Cult of the Black Grail has been managing themselves in this manner for some time now. Referring to the timeline that is provided in the lore primer, we can see exactly when the Black Grail was let loose on the world. This happened in 1346, which marks the start of the aptly named Corpse War. This lasted for roughly 7 years and ended in 1352. Not sure if it's a coincidence or not, but 7 is the sacred number of Nurgle from Warhammer. It's hard not to make comparisons with the whole disease themes that both entities have. Linked is a video that I created earlier last month that does a bit of comparison between the two. The 7th Circle of Hell is also where Beelzebub rules, which is more likely the actual reason behind the number, or it could be no correlation whatsoever and I'm just rambling on some unrelated shit. 7 was a pretty good movie, right? Alright, with the basic background and numbers baloney out of the way, let's move on to some of the sickly members of this order. But before that, I just want to throw out there that we have a Patreon along with YouTube channel memberships. Do not feel obligated, but any support is appreciated. Once subscribed, you'll have access to polls and have your name featured in the end credits. Thank you, and now actually on to the units. Starting at the top like some dead bugs floating in spoiled milk, we got the Lord of Tumors. These guys are high-ranking officials within the Black Grail. This is going to be your leader model in the Warband most of the time, and it's not hard to see why. They are described as being vastly powerful, being able to commune with Beelzebub directly in a trance-like state, as well as channeling his demonic power. It can be assumed that these individuals have the most free will out of everyone in the Warband. After all, they are the highest ranking member that we know of within the cult, and we can look at the art and see these dudes are truly a creation of Beelzebub, with their weeping boils and exposed jaw. Eesh. Next, we have the lowest of nobility within the Black Grail, which is Plague Knights. These guys not only submitted themselves willingly to the Black Grail, but also possess the depravity that the Lord of Flies seeks from his mortal followers. Because of this, they retain a semblance of sentience, and remember a bit from their previous lives. Thus, they are able to wield weapons as they did during their mortal lives. As of now, there are 12 Plague Knights of renown. These 12 are a twisted reflection of paladins of the church. These abhorrent individuals reside in Acheron, the hub for all Beelzebub worshippers. To deviate from Plague Knights for a moment, it is stated that even the most powerful of heretical overlords take caution when toying with the idea of laying siege to Beelzebub's capital. Not much is known about the current state of Acheron, but it would be fair to assume that this place is a cesspool, inhospitable to all besides the Fly Lord's minions. Next, with a smile on their face, we know that the Corpse Guard are having the time of their lives. Humans who have shown the strength to endure the disease, they act as the bodyguards for the nobility of the Black Grail. If their service is of high quality, they may climb the ladder to join their masters, and perhaps finally cash in on that retirement plan. Now on to the pups. Every faction needs a cute dog, and that's no exception for the Black Grail with their hounds. These resurrected old yellers are infested with disease and pest. Their sole duty to spread their master's unholy pestilence along with saving Timmy from the well. Alright, now we get to the bloated and decayed meat of the army, Grail Thralls. Grail Thralls are what the other 99% of the populace turned into when they came into contact with the Black Grail. Virulent husks that march onward to spread the corruption, they are the equivalent of a zombie. These guys are incapable of utilizing weapons, just like our modern day interpretation of the zombies in media such as The Walking Dead. Pretty cut and standard, these guys follow the whims of their Black Grail nobles, having no mind of their own and no remembrance of their past. They number in the millions. Okay, here comes some nasty shit. Heralds of Beelzebub are the result of a fate far worse than a Grail Thralls. They are bestowed with a curse that is dubbed the Black Honor. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that anything that would be considered a praise from a demon is probably really fucking bad news. These once mortals are merged with hell flies, their flesh contorting to become a large flying insect. Their pain is constant as they take flight with their newfound abilities. The human body within is still very much aware and is slowly consumed within the Herald, used as fuel to continue its master's will. Yeah, this sounds pretty awful, but on the bright side, these guys can use maggot-infested weapons, so that's dope. So, this next guy is possibly one of the most powerful units within the Black Grail, and that is the Amalgam. Sadly, the art that is given in the playtest rules is just a rough sketch, but to me, it gives the reader the ability to imagine their own undead monstrosity. These guys are a mashup of anything that the Warband could get their grubby fly legs on. Whether it be humans, animals, and insects, they are thrown into this mountain of diseased flesh that shambles through no man's land, spreading its ailments and utilizing weapons that the humans brandished in life. I really can't wait to see some official artwork for this guy, and I'll definitely be sure to include one of these bad boys in my Warband. Okay, so normally this would be the part of the video where I would break down the variant Warbands for the faction. However, the Black Grail currently only has one, called the Dirge of the Great Hegemon, and unlike the other variants, like in my new Antioch video, these guys actually have a bit of information and has the potential to have huge consequences on the lore that I would like to discuss in further detail in a later video. Plus, there are murmurings of another alternative warband called the Mask of the Red Death that is in the works. So I'll give those guys their due diligence in a later video. Just like disease, Beelzebub's power waxes and wanes. At one point, the cult of the Black Grail was one of the most feared factions, as their plagues burned through cities like wildfires. However, in 1429, the living saint Jeanne d'Arc drove back from the mainland of Europe like a holy white blood cell. So it can be assumed that the Black Grail are not currently in their heyday, but to underestimate them would be a huge mistake. 1429 was nearly 500 years ago. It is only a matter of time before the Black Grail is due once more. Hey, thanks for watching. Just want to go ahead and say thanks to all my patrons. You guys rock and I truly mean it. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy life to listen to me today, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon.